He was credited for bringing Trident Tech to Mount Pleasant, improving Johnnie Dodds Boulevard and Coleman Boulevard, and opening the Hungryneck Overpass. And in this edition of Quintin's Close-Ups, I sit down with former Mount Pleasant Mayor Billy Swails. Well, Mr. Swails, you know, we have some breaking news to talk about. As you know, yesterday you actually endorsed South Carolina Lieutenant Governor Pat McKinney, whom I just talked to yesterday for Quintin's Close-Ups. Tell me, why are you actually supporting him?
I've known Pat for an awful long time. When Pat was over at Wild Dunes Resort, and then he moved to Kielwald.
Yeah.
But the reason you support somebody is not because you know them, because you think they can do the job. And I know Pat can do that job. I mean, he's been a businessman all his life.
Yeah.
You know, we need a lieutenant governor that can work with Governor Haley.
Yeah.
I think he can do that. And you know, Pat can help recruit some business into the state. And
Yeah.
he can work with. You know, he's had to deal with probably over his lifetime in the sales profession 500 to 1,000 salespeople. All of them top producers. All of them have egos, and he knows how to handle that. I mean, he's a very astute person. So he was a no-brainer for me to support.
Yeah. And let's continue to walk down that breaking news path, because as you know, last week Tony Page, Linda Page's brother, passed away.
Yeah, man, what a shame.
What are your doubts about him?
What do I know about him? My doubts about him?
No, the thoughts.
Oh,
yeah.
Tony was one of the hardest working men you got to know. Tony had some weight on him. He took it off, okay, and was working extremely hard. That Page's Okra Grill is so successful. Yeah. Sometimes his daughter Courtney would have to say, "Daddy, would you leave the Mayor Swails alone?" That's when I was the mayor, and you know, I'd say, "No, we talk." And I'd always tell Tony, or Tony would always tell me, "You know, you're the only one really listening to me." I said, "Yeah, well, I may listen to you, but I'm not going to do anything you say." You know, he wanted me to buy 2 parking lots next to him,
okay,
and build a town hall there and all kind of stuff. So Tony's always had some harebrained schemes that he wanted to do. But the town of Mount Pleasant is going to miss Tony. I mean, Tony wasn't born here, but it was like he was a native. We treated him like he was a native, so we just love him to death.
And speaking of Tony, as you know, it's Linda Page's brother, and she's been the mayor now since, I want to say, late November.
Yep.
And you know, when I talked to her, actually the week of Thanksgiving, she felt like she's still Linda Page. She's not like Mayor Linda Page. Do you still, feel like she's still Linda Page, or do you feel like she's Mayor Linda Page?
Well, she has to be both.
Okay.
She has to be both, and Linda can do both. That's the reason I supported Linda. There again, she's a great business person, and she'd be Linda. I mean, I was Billy when I was the mayor. Harry's the mayor, and Hallman was the mayor when he was still Harry.
Yeah.
Johnnie Dodds was coach when he was the mayor. And I mean, it's, you know, the town is small when it comes to that. But Linda will always be Linda, but she will always be Mayor Page too. I get called mayor, and I say, well, you got to say X. I say, you know, but yeah, Linda's still Linda, but she's the mayor.
Let's go back down to June 26, 2013. I was actually sitting at home. It was a hot day that day, and it said, "Breaking news: Mayor Swails will not seek re-election." And I know that you actually wrote a letter to the town of Mount Pleasant before then. You basically said that you had a sad heart and you would not seek a second term. And you basically said that you will spend more time with your family and here at the business. Talk to me more about that.
Quintin, when we did the survey to see where we stood, see what issues were, we had between 75 and 80% approval rating. That's unheard of in the political world.
Yeah.
We had one guy that, you know, I knew I could beat his britches off if I ran. But when I looked at it, I said, you know, when you signed up, you really wanted to be a one-term mayor. I did. I really did. I said, it's been fun, but I need to spend some time with my grandchildren, my wife, my business, and I've just enjoyed it. I really have enjoyed it. I went down yesterday on an issue that the town had. I don't miss that. I mean, those people work extremely hard down there. And, the reason I didn't run is because really, I'm not a career politician. You know, I was in and out in the 70s and 80s. But I'm not going to rule out anything. I mean, you know, I may run again for something. I've got a little age on me, but I feel pretty good. I got a little weight on me, but I still feel pretty good. So, you know, the reason I didn't run is because one term, it was enough for me at that time.
And you also said, I'm going to call her in. Tell me, when did that happen?
Say that again.
You said that you are going to basically call it in when you resign. Tell me, when did you know that you wanted to say, hey, this is enough?
I don't know. When my good friend Jim Merrill, who's Geechee Communications,
Right.
did the survey, he handed it to me and says, this is a slam dunk. And he gave it to me like this, and he said, you aren't going to run, are you? I said, no. Jim and I are good friends. We play golf a lot. And I'm just more relaxed, not being a career politician. So I knew I wasn't going to run probably the first of the year last year. But when we set, all right, we're going to get set, we're going to get ready to go, and we got all of that positive reinforcement, I said, I've done what I said I was going to do.
Yeah.
Town's in good financial health.
Okay.
The roads are done. We still have some overcrowding at our schools, but that's the school board. But I think I did my job. I think my predecessor Harry Holman will pat me on my back, and he'll have a Crown Royal, and I'll have an Absolute Vodka. When we meet in heaven.
Heaven, that's right.
Yeah. And I don't rule out not running again for
Okay.
a year. I mean, you know, as simple as that. I mean, that's not breaking news, but
Right.
you know, one day I'm gonna probably retire. Not for the next couple of 10 years. But,
Okay.
you know, I really enjoy being a State Farm agent.
Oh,
I
that's
can
awesome.
help people.
And you said something interesting on Channel 2 that day. You said, all the gray-headed old men don't have all the good ideas. Let somebody else do it. So when did you know Linda Page would be the good person for that job?
Well, Linda, once she got elected, you know, she was a top vote getter.
Oh, yeah.
I put her on some important committees. She did her job.
Yeah.
She did her job for 4 years. She did her homework.
Right.
And once I thought about it, I figured that Linda would be the best person, because she actually does her homework.
Yes, she does.
You know, she's prepared. Like I say, she writes on the front side of the check. She doesn't write on the back side.
Yeah.
So she is just a wonderful person, and I figured that she could do the job. She's got a good counsel. I don't think her counsel is as good as mine, but
Okay.
that's, you know, that's
Politics.
that politics are politics. But you know, if she gets enough help, she'll do a great job.
And you mentioned this earlier, but you talked about the projects that you did here as mayor, the Hungryneck Overpass, Johnnie Dodds, the revitalization of Coleman Boulevard. As we sit here right now, what particular project are you proudest of and why?
I'm proud of all of them.
Okay.
Some of the little ones that we don't talk about is, how about when we acquired, we got Trident Technical come over here. I mean, you know, nobody thought we could do that. Thomasina Stokes Marshall and I, we acquired that building, and we were going to either use it for a senior center or something for the town, because we got a good deal on it from the State Infrastructure Bank. We got to thank Chip Limehouse for that.
Yes.
Chip has always been supportive of the town of Mount Pleasant. And we went to see Mary Thornley, and she said we'd give it a shot, and we did. I'm a little bit disappointed that Francis Marion University is not here yet, because that would be a great fit, Quintin. When, you know, everybody can't get into College of Charleston and Clemson.
Of course.
Everybody doesn't want to go to the Citadel. And even though the Baptist College is accessible, it's not affordable. They're very expensive. Francis Marion meets that where you can afford it and it's accessible. You don't have to make 1,300 on your SAT if they still take SATs. Well, if I had to make 1,300, I'd probably have to take it twice.
Twice, yeah.
But that doesn't mean I'm a foolish person, and it would fit so well for especially the 2-year nursing graduates. So I'm disappointed that the town hasn't consummated that deal. I think I would have got that done. That's one thing I left undone. But let's not forget Hungryneck Boulevard, the cross, and the things that we've done. And the money that we put in the bank. You know, we put $7 million in the bank too.
Okay.
The road projects were important. Coleman Boulevard is going to be great. Some people don't like it. Now, there's some unintended consequences there with some things where people acquire property and build a lot of buildings in one place. But overall, I'm pleased with the progress. We need that roundabout and the road construction.
And you said this to the Post and Courier, quote, "The office deserves respect, not the person."
Yeah.
This is when you retired. Let me ask you this. Did the town of Mount Pleasant get the person or the respect?
Town of Mount Pleasant gets both. I mean, we're getting more and more respect in the region because we're a player, and we're a player because we know what's good for Charleston is good for the city of North Charleston, and the town of Mount Pleasant, the town of Somerville, and Goose Creek and everything. And I think if I did one thing, I was really close with those mayors. We got to work. Now, Quintin, we didn't always agree, but we didn't fight in public.
That's right.
You know, we didn't do that, and we got a lot of loose ends done. The region started in 2009 when Bowen was announcing here.
Yeah.
I was right there when they were putting the shovel in the ground, man. I felt good about that, and it just we worked together, and what's good for the region is good for Mount Pleasant in most cases.
Yeah.
We're gonna grow. People don't want to grow. They're gonna grow. Everybody wants to live within 50 miles of the coast, and most of them want to live in Mount Pleasant, and that's a great thing. We just have to maintain our schools. But the town of Mount Pleasant is getting more respect than the mayor's office. But there again, I really think that the mayor should be full-time, strong mayor, just like the city of Charleston, just like the city of North Charleston, just like Somerville. People don't know it, but Mike Heisler in Goose Creek is a strong mayor. You know, you never hear Mike. I think he's got some opposition this year. Whoever's got is going to kill him, but Mike's going to win big time.
Yeah.
But the town's too big now to be run by a committee form of government with 8 people at the head of each committee, and that's hard to do. And maybe one day we'll wake up and do it. Yeah. Maybe that's my life calling to get it changed. I don't want to be a full-time mayor.
Okay.
You know, I tell you I may run again. Right. I don't think I would run if it was full-time, strong mayor type government. I think that somebody needs to be a little younger and more passionate and can get it done. But they also need to work with people in the region.
Yeah. And that begs my next question. Is Mount Pleasant getting too big for you? Because you grew up here, it was small back then.
You know, I'm one of those old gray-headed people that think it's good because you get to meet new and better people. Not all of them. You know, I hate to see a sign that says "Go home from Ohio." You know, I hate to see that. Some of the people that I met from Ohio are very nice people. New York. One of my best friends is from New York City. I mean, in the Bronx. So you can't get any more New York than that.
That's right.
And no, I'm not disappointed. I wish Walter told us Mount Pleasant Seafood told me a long time ago when I wanted to do more for the fishing thing, and he said, "Billy, you can't save the fleet." Mr. Toll's passed away by that, but you know, we can say all we want to, but we can't save the fleet. That's the thing that I miss. I grew up so close. I mean, we walked out there. You know, I mean, where RBs and all that. You know, that was dump. That was a dump. Mr. Simmons filled it in, and it's still, most of that belongs to the Simmons family. People don't know that, but Shim Creek was still there, and it's going to be there for a while. I mean, but we won't have as many fishing boats.
And let's walk back down memory lane, because when I was doing research about you, I read that the first time you passed on the opportunity to become, really to be in the insurance business.
Yeah, I did. My dad was in the insurance business, and I saw what he had to do, and I said, no, I don't want to do it. And when he moved on the bypass in 1980, he said, all right, this is my last time I'm going to ask you. I had a great job. I was a salesman for heavy equipment, making good money, working half the time, entertaining a lot, doing that. So I went to work, and in 2 weeks, I said, I love this. You're doing the same thing, but you're helping different people, and you're working with different people. And back then, I really worked hard, and I got where I liked it. But no, I kind of avoided the family business for about 20 years before I jumped in it. And now, I mean, I can't think of anything else. Like I said, I love being a State Farm insurance agent. You know.
And speaking of entertainment, let's go back to 1980, because when I was doing my research too, I read that you met your wife, now wife Peggy, and isn't it true that you actually had a divorce prior to that? Talk to me more about that.
Well, we got married very early. My high school sweetheart, we got married, and we had a child, and it just didn't work out. We grew apart, and we separated, and Peggy and I got married in 1985. We probably met in 80, 81, and we dated, and we fought for 4 or 5 years. Her being the federal probation officer wanted me to be on probation. That wasn't going to work. But long story short, since 1985, I've been so happy with who I married. I mean, it's unreal. I mean, my soulmate. If you got a soulmate, Peggy Swails is my soulmate.
Yeah. And let's talk about you from growing up in Mount Pleasant to the free letterman. I mean, how did that come about?
I don't understand your question.
Yeah, growing up in Mount Pleasant and becoming a free letterman. I know you played football.
Oh, three in sports. Yeah,
Right,
yeah. I mean, you know, we were small. There's no way I could do that now. I mean, I
Okay.
played football, basketball, and baseball. Well, I was probably a better basketball player than I was anything else, but I
Okay.
didn't like basketball.
Wow.
But I played basketball where I wouldn't have to lift weights between football and baseball
Baseball
season.
season, yeah.
So I really enjoyed it, and you know, it was a small. You can't do that now.
Yeah, oh, yeah.
As big as it is, and better athletes. You know, I'm one of those kind when at the cocktail party. Yes, I played 3 sports and I was pretty good. I was all low country and in 2 of them, and should have been in the 3rd one if you want to know the truth.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the sort. But I don't say I wish I could play now.
Right.
I couldn't play now.
Yeah, yeah.
They too good. The
Yeah.
kids are too good.
Yes.
But you know, I enjoyed it. I did. My son grew up here in Mount Pleasant, and he was a 2 letterman.
Wow.
People don't, you know, Billy was an All-American at Citadel baseball,
Yeah.
but nobody knew he was an All-Conference wide receiver at Wando too.
Wow.
You know, so, and that's important, those kind of things. But earn 3 letters now? No way, no way.
No reality.
You just couldn't do it. You know, there's probably some players that try to do it, but I can't think of it.
Yeah.
My name's not Bruce Ellington.
It's Billy Swails.
That's right.
Well, let's talk about your years coaching, you know, youth football and
Oh.
baseball.
Some of the best years. As a matter of fact, I told Peggy not long ago, maybe I'll coach football this fall.
Yeah.
I doubt it because
Okay.
it takes so much time. But
Oh, yeah.
I really enjoyed it. That flag over there in the corner that came back from Afghanistan, one of the young men that I coached was over there in Special Forces. And
Yeah.
he's retired now. He's retired from the service. So, you know, those things.
Yeah.
I tell everybody, I'd rather be called coach than mayor. When you see people like little Johnnie Wright comes back. I don't know if you know John Wright or not. He does the walk to Columbia for the obese.
Oh, yeah.
You know, I coach those kids, and they remember me, and they appreciate that, and you know, gave them a ride home, and just had fun with them, and it's important that we have volunteers, and Mount Pleasant's lucky that we have so many good volunteers doing that.
Yeah.
You know,
Let's talk about your family now. You have 2 children, as you mentioned, and you have 4 grandchildren.
I do.
Yeah.
I do.
For those who don't know them, describe them.
Okay. Michelle, the daughter, is a stepdaughter now, but let's go back to the son, Billy. Billy's a great athlete, won the highest order for any kid that played 2 sports. I think Golden Pineapple or something, he won academic. Billy was on the dean's list at the Citadel, did good, got out, went to work for me, and climbed that corporate ladder with State Farm, came home one day and says, I'm coming home.
Wow.
I said, what you gonna do, come to work with me? He said, no, but I'm gonna come home because I want to live in Mount Pleasant. Billy says, Dad, you can't say Mount Pleasant is the greatest place in the world to live. You never lived anywhere else. I can't, so it's the greatest place. But like I say, Michelle was my stepdaughter. I got her when she was about 8. She's a gret kid. Went to college, went to Carolina.
Oh, yeah.
Graduated in Carolina. Taught at Mary Ford.
Oh, yes.
I stole her away from the thing and said, you need to come and work with me.
Yeah.
And then from there. Billy married Tracy Weed, a girl that he grew up with in high school,
Okay.
and they have 2 children. Cameron's, well, I better go in order. Brooke is the oldest.
Yeah.
She does something in nursing. She's matter of fact, I'm so proud of her. I'm glad you asked that question because I don't brag enough on them.
Well, please.
She's going to Argentina, but doctors across borders or whatever it's called. And I'm so proud of her. She's going to do that in June, so I'm really proud of her doing that.
Yeah.
She's in the medical business field. Cameron is at Coastal Carolina. Played on the Bishop England State Championship football team. The first they won. How about Coach Canny over there? I played with Coach Canny's daddy. I mean, didn't play with him, but he coached me in JV at Moultrie, and then he moved to Bishop England.
Yeah.
So Billy has 2 children, Brooke and Cameron, great kids, and then Michelle and Rhett. She married Rhett Austin. She looked at him and says, "All right, I'll marry you, but we never leave in Mount Pleasant." So they have 2 children, Marin now.
Yeah.
I call Marin. Marin's my assistant mayor.
Okay.
Marin was the only family member that was disappointed that I didn't run for re-election because she loved it. She'd go with me everywhere and do that.
Yeah.
And Ivy, of course, she's the little one. She's 5 years old, and she's the caboose, and she knows it. So she commands it. I got a text, and you know you have to text now with
Oh,
your grandchildren.
Oh, yes.
Brooke texts and says, when can we go to dinner? I forget what place, and let's bring Brooke and let's bring Maren and Ivy and enjoy, because they enjoy it. And you know, especially the little ones.
Yeah.
They have more fun. But they have I got a great family. You met my brother when
Right.
he came
Yeah.
in.
Yeah.
He's here. My sister's here. We're losing them. We lost my last uncle. No, I got one more uncle, but he doesn't know where he is now. But my uncle Lindbergh Swails is kind of like Cy Robinson on Duck Nine.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, was in the Army for forever, and he just died. But Swails family's good. They're very good. The Austin family, the other side, Michelle's husband, they're fine. They're doing great.
Yeah.
They're doing great. They sometimes they worry about why is town of Mount Pleasant's growing. I said because that's where most of your friends came from. You know, so you know they hear sometimes people say it was so much better, but they enjoy Mount Pleasant.
Yeah. You buried the lead in the beginning when I asked you about the future, or you talked about the future. So let me ask you this, and I'm looking at this right here. Cooper River Bridge Run.
Yep.
Are you running?
Oh no. But I tell you what, the year before it didn't go off on time.
Oh, yeah.
It went off on time last year. Because I told Julian, I said, Julian, I'm gonna be on that scaffold with the pistol, and we're gonna shoot that gun at 8 o'clock. Well, we actually shot it at 7:59.
Wow.
You know, the merchants on Coleman and everybody, you cannot wait. You got that big a crowd, you got to move. You know, this year I see and hear about security being tight. I'm glad of that. They'll do a great job. Just think how much work Quintin goes into it. And you know, it is a Cripple River Bridge Run, but here's where I may be a little jealous.
Okay.
Charleston gets all the credit for the bridge run. But look where it starts. Look what our public service department does. Look what our police department does. Look what our fire department does. Just look at the coordination it takes to get that done. It's such a great event.
I did it for 12 years.
Did you?
Yeah, right.
Well, I can tell you right now, starting about Wednesday, there won't be a hotel room in Charleston.
Nope.
And you know, this is a great event for the Charleston region. And we got the Somerville festival going on
Flower
too.
Town.
Yeah, Flower Town.
Family Circle Cup.
Yeah, we got a lot. Yeah, we got things going on, and it's just a great time to be. But Cooper River Bridge Run's will get bigger and bigger. I asked one time, what's the biggest one? They said 60,000, and I said, how many do we have? And they said 36, and I said, we won't break that record.
Yeah, I know.
And sometimes you want to try, you'd have to be all the way to Isle Pond and Sullivan's Island. But yeah, no, I'm not going to run. But I'll avoid Coleman Boulevard.
Me too.
You
We'll
know?
be sleeping in.
Yeah, I'll be sleeping in, but that's usually my track, because I go to Cleaners over there and stop in at Pages and that kind of stuff on Saturday. Yeah. It's just, it gets bigger and better every year.
Well, Billy Swails, it was so good talking to you, man.
Well, thank you, man.
Thank you.
Appreciate it, brother.